If you wrote this life as a screenplay, Hollywood would reject it for being too unrealistic. How does one immigrant live three impossible lives? Dominating the world of sports, defining the era of the action hero, and capturing the highest political office in California within a single lifetime? To the public, he is the ultimate monument to the American dream. But monuments are made of stone. This story is built on flesh, blood, and dark secrets. Behind the billion-dollar smile was a ruthless drive to escape a brutal past. A drive that created an empire, but eventually threatened to destroy everything he loved. We saw the Terminator, but we didn't see the husband living a double life for 14 years. We didn't see the frail man fighting to breathe after a surgery went wrong. What is the true cost of total ambition? And where did this unquenchable fire begin? To understand the legend, we must leave Hollywood's bright lights and return to the ruins of a defeated country. Born into ruins, Arnold Alois Schwarzenegger was born on July 30th, 1947, in the tiny village of Thal, just outside Graz. But the world he entered was not one of hope. Austria was a broken nation, defeated in World War II, occupied by foreign armies, and suffused with a collective, suffocating depression. In the Schwarzenegger household, there was no electricity, no central heating, and no indoor plumbing. Water had to be fetched from a well, even in winter. But the harshest element in that house wasn't the cold, it was the father. Gustav Schwarzenegger was the local police chief, a tall, imposing figure who played the accordion and commanded fear. He was also a former member of the Nazi Party, a man carrying the invisible wounds of a lost war. Like many men of his generation, he brought the military home with him. For Arnold and his older brother Meinhard, childhood was not a time of play. It was a regime. The father, the rival, and the bruised boy Gustav pitted the brothers against each other in athletic competitions, praising the winner and ignoring the loser. It was a cruel form of Darwinism practiced at the breakfast table. More often than not, Meinhard, the favored son, the golden boy, won. Arnold was dismissed. His father mocked his dreams, ridiculed his body, and sometimes, when the drink took hold, the discipline turned physical. My hair was pulled. I was hit with belts, Arnold would later recall, devoid of self-pity. So was the kid next door. It was just the way it was. But where Meinhard broke under pressure, eventually spiraling into a tragic life, cut short by alcohol and a car crash, Arnold calcified. The abuse didn't crush him, it detached him. He began to view his family, his village, and his country as things he did not belong to. He felt like an alien in his own home. He had a feeling he was meant for something else. The dark theater and the American dream. That feeling needed direction. It needed a blueprint, and he found it in a darkened movie theater in Graz. On the screen, he saw newsreels of America. Skyscrapers, giant cars, sunshine. People who looked like winners. It was the antithesis of the gray, defeated world of Thal. America became his destination. Now he just needed a ticket. The ticket appeared in a shop window when he was a teenager. A magazine cover featuring Reg Park, a British bodybuilder who had become Mr. Universe, and then played Hercules in the movies. For the first time, Arnold saw the path clearly. It wasn't a vague dream anymore, it was a plan. Reg Park was a bodybuilder. Reg Park went to America. Reg Park became a movie star. Arnold would do the same. His mother, Aurelia, terrified by the images of oiled, half-naked men, thought her son was sick. His father sneered. "Why don't you chop wood if you want to use your muscles?" he asked. The Austrian oak becomes American steel. Munich was the next step, then London. But the ultimate prize was waiting across the ocean, and Arnold knew, with terrifying certainty, that he was coming to conquer it. In 1968, at age 21, the dream touched down. Arnold arrived in America with a gym bag, a thick accent, and a belief in his own destiny that bordered on delusion. He had been summoned by Joe Weider, the godfather of bodybuilding, who saw in this Austrian giant the future of the sport. But America, the land of giants, had a harsh lesson waiting. In Miami, at his first American competition, he was defeated. Frank Zane, a smaller, more defined American, took the title. Arnold was devastated. He cried in his hotel room, realizing that sheer mass was not enough. He was a smooth balloon, big but undefined. Most men would have packed their bags. Arnold unpacked his notebook. He moved to Venice Beach, California, and Gold's Gym became his cathedral. The millionaire who built his own empire. There were no more worlds to conquer in bodybuilding. He was the undisputed king. But Arnold wasn't just building a body, he was building a bank account. Unlike the stereotype of the dumb musclehead, Arnold was a shrewd businessman from the moment he landed. While other bodybuilders slept on the beach, Arnold and his best friend Franco Columbu started a bricklaying business. They marketed themselves as European artisans, charging rich Californians a premium for patio work. He used that money to invest in mail-order fitness courses. He took those profits and poured them into apartment buildings during the inflation of the 1970s. By age 22, he was a millionaire. And he hadn't even starred in a major movie yet. He had the money, he had the fame, he had the body. Now, the old vision from the dark theater in Graz returned, the final frontier. He told his friends and agents, "I will be the biggest movie star in the world." The Terminator, A Machine is Born. Director James Cameron originally envisioned O.J. Simpson as the Terminator. But when he met Arnold for lunch, everything changed. Arnold, originally up for the role of hero Kyle Reese, began lecturing Cameron on how the villain should act. He shouldn't blink when he shoots. He must be a machine, no emotion. Cameron realized the truth. This man wasn't a human hero. He was the perfect machine. The Terminator was released, and overnight, Arnold's liabilities became iconic. The monotone voice was perfect for a cyborg. The stiff movement, robotic precision, the unpronounceable name. It was now the biggest brand in the world. He spoke only 17 lines in the entire movie. But one of them, "I'll be back," became the most famous quote in movie history. The 1980s had found its king. The decade of excess, of Reaganomics, of American muscle flexing on the global stage needed a mascot. They found it in the Austrian immigrant wrapped in the American flag. The rivalry that made action movies bigger. But every king needs a rival. Across town, Sylvester Stallone was wearing the crown. The feud between Arnold and Stallone was legendary. It wasn't just professional, it was personal. They hated each other. At parties, they would throw insults. In the press, they attacked each other's physiques. "He looks like a cow," Arnold once said of Sly. It became a global arms race. If Stallone used a machine gun in Rambo, Arnold used a minigun in Predator. If Stallone killed 50 bad guys, Arnold killed 100 in Commando. They pushed each other to levels of absurdity that defined the action genre. Arnold later admitted to a stroke of genius. When offered the script for a terrible movie called Stop, or My Mom Will Shoot, he realized it was a career killer. So he leaked to the press that he was dying to do the movie. Stallone, driven by jealousy, outbid him. Stallone made the movie. It was a disaster. Arnold won without throwing a punch. The empire of the 1990s. By the early 1990s, Arnold was untouchable. Total Recall, True Lies, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. He wasn't just an action star anymore. He was a genre unto himself. He even pivoted to comedy with Twins and Kindergarten Cop, proving he could laugh at his own image. He was the highest paid actor in the world. He had a private jet. He had the Hummers, which he personally convinced the military to sell to civilians. He was married to Maria Shriver, a member of the Kennedy dynasty. The peasant boy from Austria had married into American royalty. It was the perfect life, the perfect image. But in Hollywood, the higher you climb, the thinner the air becomes, and the arrogance that built the empire began to create blind spots. On set, Arnold was the alpha male. Off set, rumors began to swirl. Stories of womanizing, crude behavior, a man who believed the rules of marriage applied to him as little as the rules of gravity. Outro Sacramento is a graveyard for political ambitions. It is a place where idealism goes to die, strangled by bureaucracy, special interests, and gridlock. But Arnold didn't see a graveyard, he saw a set. He approached the governorship the same way he approached Mr. Olympia, believing that charisma and force of will could bend the system to his liking. He famously set up a smoking tent in the Capitol courtyard because smoking was banned inside, and invited legislators in. It was the ultimate power move. For a while, it worked. He was the post-partisan governor, Republican, married to a Kennedy, socially liberal but fiscally conservative. He was the most famous politician on earth. World leaders didn't want to meet the president. They wanted a photo with the Terminator. He passed landmark environmental legislation, poured billions into infrastructure, and became the action hero governor. But politics is not a movie. In politics, the villain sues you, unions strike, and voters turn on you. And the darkest villain of all is the one you create inside yourself.